Welcome back to the crossover on this 4th of September, and one day before football starts, Patrick Surtain has signed a historic deal. What's going on with Ja'Marr Chase? We're in the final month of Major League Baseball. Playoff implications on the line. We're going to take a look at one big story happening there. We've got a massive U.S. men's national team update. Is Casemiro on the move after what happened against Liverpool? Let's get into all of it. But before we get into all of that, I want to just make a deal with you, okay? If you go down and click that big red subscribe button for me, I can promise you that every day you will have a video on this channel to watch, talking all things in sports. We're on the road currently to 1,000 subscribers. The more subscribers, the more likes, the bigger we can grow this community, the bigger that we can grow this channel, which obviously means we can upgrade our setup. We can get some cool guests on here to have some cool conversations for you guys to ask them questions, get to know them a little bit better, and get invited to certain events. Obviously, we're out here in New York City. There's a whole bunch of stuff that I want to show off. So the more that we can grow this platform, the more that we can grow this together, the cooler guests, the cooler conversations, and the cooler places that we can go. So if you could just hit that subscribe button, it would mean the world to me. Now let's get into the video. And let's start off with the biggest news of the day. Patrick Surtain has set a new NFL record and became the highest paid defensive back ever, signing a $96 million deal to keep him up in Denver for 4 more years. Obviously, massive contract for him. He is the cornerstone of that defense. Probably one of the best, if not the best, cornerbacks out there in the NFL right now. So 100% deserving. And he joins a whole bunch of 2018 Alabama players who have gotten paid in a massive way. I mean, you look back at that 2018 Bama squad, Josh Jacobs, he signed a $48 million deal for 4 years. Jerry Jeudy got $52 for 3 years. Xavier McKinney, $67 million for 4 years. Devontae Smith has gotten a $75 million contract. Jalen Waddle, $84.75 million contract. Christian Barrymore, $92 million contract. Surtain, obviously, right now with the $96 million contract. Quentin Williams also got a $96 million contract. Trayvon Diggs, $97 million over 5 years. Tua, $212.4 million. And then Jalen Hurts, $255 million. And just those 11 players right there who are on that 2018 Bama squad have accounted for $1.2 billion worth of contract. What a team that they had in 2018. Again, congrats to Patrick Surtain, 100% deserving. I didn't even know that this was kind of on the horizon. I don't know if this kind of just came out of nowhere, but Patrick Surtain, the highest paid NFL defensive back ever. And somebody who's also looking to get paid, Ja'Marr Chase. The season literally starts tomorrow, and Ja'Marr Chase and the Bengals, I don't know if they're getting close. I don't even think that Ja'Marr Chase is going to play against the New England Patriots. Obviously, he saw what happened with T. Higgins, who did get franchise tagged, so T. Higgins will be there. But Ja'Marr Chase, I mean, what's going on here? The Bengals, obviously, 1-2 punch is Joe Burrow, is Ja'Marr Chase. Joe Burrow, obviously, coming off of a tough year last year, looking to bounce back, looking to get things back in order after the Bengals won the first postseason game in God knows how long. Like, you have to pay Ja'Marr Chase, and the fact that we are now over 24 hours, just a bit over 24 hours from the NFL season starting, and there's still no deal with Ja'Marr Chase. I mean, the Bengals are selling used televisions that they had in their state. Like, I don't know if this is a final push to try to get that money for Ja'Marr Chase, but obviously the internet has gone ablaze talking about you guys are literally selling your TVs trying to sign Ja'Marr Chase. It's a bad look for the franchise. It's a bad look for everybody here. I'm sure Ja'Marr Chase wants to be out there, but at the same time, he's not playing for $1 million this year. I think he's looking for 1 cent over what Jay Jettis got. He's trying to become the highest paid wide receiver. Their owner came out and said, obviously, after Joe Burrow, he is our most important player, so we're going to get it done. But for right now, unless they get a contract done within the next 24, 48 hours, I do not see him playing against the Patriots. And honestly, the Patriots in a new era, you never know. They could come out, they could surprise the Bengals. The Bengals could be 0-1. Ja'Marr Chase, could he sit out the whole year? Maybe. Do I think he will? No, but I guess we'll see there. Over in San Francisco, obviously there was also talks with Trent Williams and Ayuk. CMC. They are all back. They are all full strength. Trent Williams, CMC, Ayuk, all back training for the Niners, and they should be fully ready to go on Monday night. And now we have 5 straight days of football starting tomorrow. Tomorrow we've got the Ravens versus the Chiefs. Just one bit of breaking news that we just got here recently while I was writing up the script for today's video. Hollywood Brown will not play for the Chiefs, but it seems like everybody else will play for the Chiefs. The Ravens, I think, might be missing their left tackle, Joe Brown, so that should be something to keep our eyes on there. Obviously, the Chiefs raising the banner in Kansas City. We get Derrick Henry, first game with the Ravens, ready to go. Should be interesting to see that there. I'll give my prediction for that game tomorrow. Then on Friday, we've got Packers versus Eagles in Brazil. Saturday, we've obviously got a full slate of college football, notably number 3 Texas versus number 10 Michigan. That should be a great game to watch there. We've got Colorado versus Nebraska. Obviously, Colorado, he's got all the hype. Nebraska with their new quarterback, Patrick Mahomes Jr. That'll be a fun game to watch there. We don't have any other ranked matchups, so that's what I put there. Colorado versus Nebraska I'll be watching. Sunday, obviously, we've got a full slate of football back, NFL football. The game that I kind of circle is Browns versus Cowboys at 4:25. Obviously, the Cowboys coming out trying to make a good impression. Deshaun Watson now back in the NFL with the Browns, so that should be a fun game to watch. Sunday night football as well. Rams versus Lions, little playoff rematch right there. Obviously, the Rams and the Lions tied together because of the Stafford and golf situation, so that'll be a fun game to watch. And then on Monday night football, we've got the Jets versus the Niners. Aaron Rodgers back. Hopefully, his debut this season will last a little bit longer than last season's. And then we got a full 49ers team back. And then we have Tuesday, Wednesday of no football, and obviously Thursday we will be back. So the NFL is finally here. It has been a little bit of a dry streak here in the summer with no sports, but we are fully back into the fall. Let's go. But just because we haven't had any NFL football does not mean that we haven't been having some very meaningful games being played, especially in the MLB as we move on into September. And the season's starting to heat up. This is when baseball really starts picking up because obviously we are 1 month away, or a little bit less than 1 month away from the postseason starting. And who's really trying to get into this postseason is the New York Mets. And what a story the Mets have been this year. They have now 6 games in a row that they've won, 6-game win streak, as last night they beat the Red Sox 7-2. And can we just talk about the ups and downs of the Mets season so far? I mean, right now they're sitting at 75-64, half a game behind of the last wild card spot behind the Braves. And at one point in June, they were 11 games under 500. So between June and now, in just a couple of months, they've gone from being below 500 by 11 games to now above 500 by 11 games. The mood, the everything, obviously living in Jersey, super close to New York, the buzz around the Mets has been insane recently. But let's take a look at the remaining schedule, okay? Because they're really going to need a push. But they have the games available to go beat the Braves, to get into that wild card spot. Winning the division is going to be a little bit hard because they are 7 games behind the Phillies and with only 23 games left. Well, let's take a look at it. Tonight, they play the Sox again to finish out the series, looking for the sweeps. The Sox, who are 4.5 games back, so they still have something to fight for, but they're not looking good right now. Then they have a 3-game series against the Reds, who are 9.5 games back. Not impossible, but looking very unlikely for the Reds to be in the postseason. Then they have 3 games up in Toronto to face the Blue Jays, who are also 8 games behind. So for me, out of these next 7 games, you got to get at least 5 wins here if you want to stay alive, if you want to keep this playoff push going. Because then afterwards, they get 1 day off, but then they have to go to the Phillies. They have to go play in Philadelphia, who have the second best record in the MLB, only behind the Dodgers. And I think they're like 1 or 2 games behind the Dodgers for the best record in the MLB. They are 7 games over the Braves right now to lead the division. So obviously super tough game there. Then they go to Washington to play the Nats. The Nats are 13 games behind playoff contention. So they've got to get at least 2, if not 3 there. Because then the Phillies come to New York to play them for 4 more games. So they're going to have a stretch there in about 2 weeks week and a half, that they're going to play the Phillies 7 different times, 3 in Philadelphia, 4 at home. I mean, if you can get a split on these 7, get 4-3 something, because the Braves are going to be keeping their pace. And then a day off, and they go down to Atlanta to play 3 games. And those are probably going to be the 3 games that end up deciding it. I mean, the playoffs are basically starting early here for the Mets. These are some must-win games before the playoffs. And then obviously in the playoffs, those are all must-win games. And you look at the Phillies last year, who was a great story. They got hot at the right time. They made a push. They got into the playoffs. Obviously, didn't go as far as they wanted to go, but that could easily be the Mets this year. I mean, the Mets, a couple years back, they were hot, and then they went cold into the playoffs, got to the playoffs, and they kind of just crashed and burned. This could be the year that the story flips. They started off cold, they're getting hot at the right time here. Those 3 games against the Braves in Atlanta could be the decider. And then they finish off the season with 3 games at Milwaukee. Milwaukee, who has 81 wins, and they have the biggest lead in their division. They are 10 games in control of their division. I feel like the Brewers aren't really getting talked about much. I mean, you hear about the Dodgers, you hear about the Phillies, the Yankees, but the Brewers, 81 wins, 3rd best record in baseball. That could be a problem there. So I'm loving the Mets, but I'm hoping that they stay hot, because especially living around here, the excitement that brews once the Mets come around, even though I am a Yankee fan, it's kind of cool to see. And Lindor made history last night as he became the 3rd shortstop with 30-plus home runs in 5 different seasons, and he joined some pretty elite company here. Alex Rodriguez had 7 seasons with 30-plus home runs, playing at least 50% of his games at shortstop. Ernie Banks had 5, and now Lindor also has 5. So Lindor is having himself a year, and we're going to talk a little bit more about Lindor here later on. But even though the Mets are rolling in Queens and the Bronx, man, like I said, I am a Yankee fan. And last night I had to watch Clay Holmes blow his 11th save opportunity of the season. I mean, that is the most in the MLB. And I am just so sick and tired of Clay Holmes. I mean, if there's any other Yankee fans watching this video, you know, even if Clay Holmes comes out and gets a save, it's never like a Mariano Rivera or even an Aroldis Chapman. Like, he just doesn't give you that comfort saying, all right, Clay Holmes is coming in the 9th inning. No matter how many we're up by, Clay Holmes is going to get it done. Easy. I feel like even when he does get the save, he always leaves 2 on base, or there is always like that little bit of hope that the other team have. It just doesn't feel like a closer, let alone a closer for the New York Yankees. The Yankees are up 4-3 going into the 9th inning against the Rangers. Rangers obviously last year won the World Series. This year, they're 9.5 games back, so definitely not having their best time. Holmes gets an out, but then single, walk. I mean, it is just unfathomable that you can be a closer and come in and give up 2 walks, especially back-to-back, especially after giving up a single, especially in a 1-run game. I mean, I don't know who we're going to have as closer. The talk of Juan Soto, the talk of Jazz, the talk of Volpe, the talk of Judge. It's all cool and all, but especially once you start getting into the postseason, number 1, the bullpen, and number 2, bullpen management, which I don't really love Boone's bullpen management, but that's a different story for a different time, I guess. But hopefully it doesn't come back to bite us. Up steps Wyatt Langford with the bases loaded, a rookie outfielder who is 0 for 4 on the day, works the count to 3-2, and then with a walk-off grand slam, the 2nd grand slam for the Rangers this year, the 2nd for Wyatt Langford this year, wins the game in the 9th inning with a walk-off grand slam against the New York Yankees. What a story for a rookie. Clay Holmes blows his 11th save. And Wyatt Langford is the 2nd player with a cycle, an inside-the-park home run, and a walk-off grand slam in the same season, joining only Jackie Robinson, the other guy to ever do that. And then speaking of rookies doing great things, Angels rookie pitcher last night, Ben Joyce, with the fastest ever recorded strikeout pitch of 106 miles per hour, perfectly placed, bottom left corner. I don't care who you are. I don't care where you are. 3rd strike at 106 miles per hour. You'll be lucky if you even see it. Now on to some footy talk as we have a massive U.S. men's national team update. As you guys probably already know by now, Pochettino had a verbal agreement with the U.S. men's national team to take over the coaching duties. Seems like it was like months ago that this decision came to be. But me watching everything that I've watched with the U.S. men's national team coaching situation the past couple of years, I've been telling everybody, listen, I'm not going to believe it until I see it. I'm not going to believe it until it's down on paper. I'm not going to see it. I'm not going to believe it until I see a press conference. Well, it seems like this week that announcement is coming. It seems like they're making it official this week. So I can't wait to see that. And then I can fully believe and fully trust, okay, Pochettino is the U.S. men's national team coach. And until I see that, call me a doubter, but I've seen too much within the past couple of years. And then a massive story that's kind of brewing, Galatasaray. I mean, they've been making splashes all over the place. Obviously, with Victor Osimhen, they just announced and presented him today. I believe he's wearing the number 49 or 47 or something like that I saw. But Osimhen officially at Galatasaray. But Galatasaray seems to still be out on the transfer market. And they are looking at Casemiro. Now, Casemiro, he has been much talked about, much reprimanded by the Manchester United fans, talking about how he just doesn't have it anymore. It looks like he's playing in a charity match. It just doesn't seem like he has any heat or anything behind him. Well, he could easily be on his way out. You look at all the backlash that he got after that Liverpool game. You look at Ugarte officially now being at Manchester United, joining the squad, already training with the squad, expecting him to play here, if not the next United game, the one after that. Casemiro could very well be done. I mean, and if you look at Galatasaray's lineup in the midfield, they have Sergio Oliveira, who is a good Portuguese player, Torreira, who you guys probably know, the Uruguayan, Mertens and Demirbay. Those are kind of more traditionally wingers, but they're listed as midfielders. And then up top, they've got Osimhen, Ziyech, Icardi, and Batshuayi. I mean, Galatasaray is really cooking up a team. Obviously, Fenerbahce went out and made the big splash with Mourinho, but Galatasaray said, listen, we're going to still have something to say about this here. And I think it's good for both parties. I think Ugarte is probably going to start getting some more playing time. I think Casemiro, not that he just doesn't have it anymore, but he could go out there. He could be loved. He can go to a place where you already know that in Turkey they're absolutely going to love you. I mean, just look at what they've been doing for Osimhen. You go on with Casemiro, you're going to be joining a great team. You probably won't have to take that much of a pay cut, if a pay cut at all. And then Galatasaray and United both in Europa League. Can you just imagine the scenes? Casemiro comes back to Old Trafford, scores. I just think it's bound to happen at that point if they do end up facing each other and Casemiro does end up leaving. And the market in Turkey closes September 13th, so they have 9 days from today's recording. The Prem comes back on the 14th. Obviously, everybody right now is on international duty, so there's no games being played right now. So we'll see if Galatasaray can figure this out or if it's just another rumor to be left in the mill. Who is not on international duty is Luis Suarez, as he announced that he is no longer playing for the Uruguayan national team. I mean, I kind of saw this one coming. He didn't get that much playing time at Copa America. And even watching him with Inter Miami, like, the fact that he's still playing is kind of surprising to me. But Suarez is officially done with Uruguay. He's got knee issues. Even at Inter Miami, again, it just doesn't seem like he has the pace anymore. He still has the skill, no doubt about it. But he will no longer be doing it for the Uruguay national team. Now for my hot take of the day. Lindor is the NL MVP. I don't care what anybody says. Obviously, everybody's looking at Ohtani. Everybody's trying to give the award to Ohtani. And Ohtani is having a great season, no doubt about it. On pace for that 50-50 season with 50 home runs and 50 stolen bases. Not trying to take anything away from him. But MVP means most valuable player. The Mets are nothing without Francisco Lindor. The Dodgers, you take away Ohtani, simple. Just look at last year. It's basically the same roster. They won 100 games, made it all the way to the NLDS. Obviously did crash out to Arizona, but Arizona went out and made it all the way to the World Series. So they were in the middle of their great dynastic run. And you look at Lindor, he leads the team in batting average, RBIs, on-base percentage, hits, and he has only one home run behind Pete Alonso. He is literally leading basically every batting statistic for the Mets. You take him off of the Mets and that run that we were talking about, down 11 games under 500 in June to now 11 games over 500, half a game behind. Undoubtedly, Lindor is the NL MVP. Any other answer is incorrect. And the dog of the day is a rookie outfielder for the Texas Rangers, who last night, after going 0 for 4 throughout the game, bottom of the ninth inning, down 1, 3-2 count against the New York Yankees, hits a grand slam, his second grand slam of the year, the second ever player to have a cycle inside the park home run and a walk-off grand slam. Only other player to do that was Jackie Robinson. Wyatt Langford, congratulations. You are the dog of the day. And when you do something that only Jackie Robinson has ever done, you 100% deserve to come up here on this wall. Wyatt Langford, congratulations. You are today's dog of the day. Now that's everything that's been happening, and now let's look at what will happen here tonight. Obviously, we've got a full MLB slate. The Mets trying to win that series against the Red Sox. We've got Caitlin Clark versus Brink. Obviously got drafted together, linked together in college. Fever versus the Sparks, and after that, not much else going on tonight. But again, tomorrow, football is back. 5 days. Get excited. Let's go. It's the last dry night here. Come on. Tomorrow, we do have the start of the UEFA Nations League. And I'm just going to give you guys my predictions now because I don't know if I'm going to be able to get a video out before those games start tomorrow. We've got Portugal versus Croatia. Obviously, for those of you who don't know, I am Portuguese. So I'm taking Portugal. We've got Scotland versus Poland as well. And I'm actually going to take a tie there. Neither team really jumps out at me as like is going to be able to come out and get it done. So I'm just going to take a tie there. Same thing in that Denmark versus Switzerland game. No team really inspires me. If somebody does, it would be probably Denmark. And then the last game that we have tomorrow is Serbia versus Spain. Spain obviously coming back off of that Euro win. Fresh off of that Euro win. There's no doubt in my mind that they're going to be able to take care of Serbia, even though Serbia are a very tough matchup. And again, if you've made it this far, please hit that subscribe button. Please go down below, follow us on all social medias, and we will be back tomorrow.